The movement had improved to about what it looks like now. By then, it's still, the menu system was so bland and boring that it gave you zero things to do outside of a mission. But then the big UI update came out like about a month later, I think, with Mirage. Listen to my friggin' accent leaving me all of a sudden. With Mirage coming out and the whole Lisette UI aspect, and just so many new things that improve the game. And that was the start of the cycle that really amped up what Warframe was all about. It really amped up the quality of the game. And that process has continued ever since I picked it up last year. It has gotten so much better. I mean, it surprises me, really, that, I don't want to say indie game, but that's basically what it is. An indie game like this that is free to play. You don't have to pay for anything if you don't want to. You can get along in the game completely free. The only things you have to pay for is to get more platinum if you want it right away. But even then, you can get platinum from other players by trading from the things that you work so hard to get in the game. There is so much reward that is given through it. I am honestly surprised that it is not recognized more than it is. Like, I think I saw in Game Informer a few months back where they had a top 10 list of free games, and Warframe didn't make the list. I was so shocked. I mean, granted, they seem mostly focused on PC games, but Warframe is huge on the PC, and it's growing more and more on the consoles as well. So I am honestly shocked that it didn't get any recognition. Regardless, DE Digital Extremes is constantly taking input from the players. They hold a dev stream every 2 weeks on their YouTube channel, where they showcase the new content that is coming up. Now granted, they don't show everything, but they give you a good overview of some of the key points that are coming up, and get fan feedback over the streams. And they get feedback from the players to make changes. Like with the PC, they can make updates that come out week by week and make the subtle changes needed based on player input. The whole system is going through overhauls every time the system updates, because DE is actually listening to their fan base, their players. It is so rare to find a game company nowadays that actually listens so closely to their players. I know I'm going off on a huge rant right here. It's just, DE is what you should look for in a game company. If you ever want to get into that field, which honestly I do, in the future I would love to get into the game design field. That is like a huge dream of mine. But anyway, if you want to get into the game design field, look for companies like DE that invest so much into quality control and how to please how to please their fan base. And the only profit they get from it is from the platinum purchases and the DLCs that they come out with, which is not very much, honestly. It's just platinum packs and mod packs that you can get. Stuff that you can get from in-game. That is the only profit they get off of Warframe. With that in mind, anyway, I went off on a totally different tangent there. Where the hell was I? I'm sorry, guys. I just went off on a totally different subject. Anyway, what I was saying was that with them listening to their fan base so heavily and depending on fan feedback to make changes to the game to suit player needs, the game is constantly evolving, constantly changing, constantly adding new things to explore and to observe. And yes, it's gone into kind of a lull lately because it seems like the same old thing. Now, Warframe has kind of become old hat because it's been out for like 2 years now. And, you know, players are always constantly looking for something new to do. And with the Excalibur Revisited update, it is just the first step in DE trying to revitalize Warframe. And it's working, in my opinion. All the new weapons, all the new advancements that they've been making lately, it's just ramping up what Warframe is capable of. I mean, they brought back the Warframe poster child from the brink. Back whenever Warframe first started, Excalibur was the Warframe. Even before Warframe started, he was the poster child for DE because of Dark Sectors. Yes, he wasn't Excalibur then, but that was where he started. His likeness was the poster for Digital Extremes, and now, well, after all that time, all these new Warframes like Mirage and Mesa and Limbo and Chroma were coming out, and Excalibur had basically become, I don't want to say obsolete, but basically he was a starter Warframe. That was it. His abilities were so bland compared to other Warframe's abilities by then. And yes, that was because he was the first Warframe. His abilities were initial. They were beginning abilities. This was before DE had actually explored capabilities and advanced on what they wanted their Warframes to be able to do. As a gay guy plays put it, his exalted blade has turned him from the poster child to the centerfold. He is the one that everyone wants now. And I might be exaggerating, honestly, but really, I was really, whenever I saw the Excalibur rework coming down the pike, I had to get that free Warframe spot, you know? I had to get that free Warframe slot to have the open spot to try out Excalibur again. And once I got my hands on him and got him to rank 10 to try out Exalted Blade, I went nuts. This thing is so much fun to use. it totally revitalized the character, and in turn jump-started it. I don't want to say it jump-started it. It's basically the first signs of what's to come and the big changes for Warframe in the future. Excalibur Revisited is just the first step. Update 17 is already out for the PC, and I am so looking forward to it in, I don't know, maybe a month or two, probably before it gets out to the consoles. Whenever it finally comes out for consoles, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be playing a totally different game. The parkour system is going to be different. Frost is going to get his own rework, so it's gonna revitalize another Warframe that has become old hat. And on top of that, we're getting big pieces of the lore that everyone has been pondering over since Warframe's inception. The sentients are on their way back, and I highly doubt that we won't get any interesting information from that, and any interesting bits of history. Because with the sentients return, you know we're going to look back and see what happened with the sentients in the old war. What we thought ended them. There's just so much content yet to be seen in Warframe. So much that we don't yet know. So much that we have that is going to be unlocked down the road. And that is what I love about this game. It's constantly evolving, constantly changing, constantly adding more for you to explore and enjoy.
We're done here. The extraction team will take over.
Let's see, did I get anything? Nope. What all can I put on here? Ah, can upgrade Vital Sense. I don't know if any of you have taken a look, but the Sabaris, the 2-round burst rifle that you can get out of the tunnel lab in your dojo, it's actually a really good weapon. It's not the heaviest hitting weapon I've ever had. Like, it doesn't really compare to weapons like the Boltor Prime and the Soma Prime as far as stopping power, but it's still very strong in its own right. I'd say it's probably a high tier weapon, not as high as the Boltor or the Soma, but still high up there. And it's really fun to use because it is so versatile, not only in its damage but also in its usage. With it being a 2-round burst, it's very efficient. The damage is very heavy for those 2 rounds, especially if you go with a critical chance build like I'm doing here. With the build that I have going right now, I'm using critical chance and critical damage modifiers to increase them so to where I get a critical on 1 in every 2 shots. So basically I have the chance for at least 1 critical in each burst of 2 rounds. So that's amazing stopping power. I also like the styling of the gun. It looks like a lever action rifle. Well, I mean it is a lever action rifle, but it looks like a old lever action rifle. Winchester. There you go. With its efficiency and accuracy with the 2-round burst that it has, it's good at both short range with hip fire and long range. The iron sights give you enough precision to be able to snipe people from quite a distance across a room or arena that you're in mission. If Finally got my hands on a Vacor Merlock, and I finally see why people are arguing so much over whether the Vacor is the best weapon or the Teleshock Bolto. The Telos is good in its own right. It's got good stopping power, good fire rate. Proc on it every time you get enough experience is good, but the Vacor also has really heavy stopping power. It's basically a marksman pistol, like the one they added in Grand Theft Auto recently. Uh, Basically a marksman pistol. It has really heavy damage per shot, and even though it doesn't fire particularly fast, and it uses impact damage, which is only good against shields for the most part, it's such heavy damage that you're guaranteed to put down almost anything. Whip out the Prismascana. You know, that's the funny thing. I don't know if you guys have heard, ever since the Prismascana came out, there's been this big debate about whether or not the Docker Prime was better or the Prismascana was better. And honestly, in my opinion, I do believe that the Prismascana has the edge, because a lot of the people that vote between Docker Prime and Prismascana, first of all, they rely on Life Strike on their weapons, which takes up another mod space to do evening out, which I don't do, honestly. I don't use channeling very much in this game. You know, I rarely do it whenever I'm facing an enemy that is particularly tough, which at this point I've been playing long enough that I rarely run into that problem unless I'm facing someone like Vor in the Void, but even then channeling's useless against him because you have to use your precision weapon on his weakness. Ow, you bastard.